What's up, gardeners? I am coming to you from our workshop slash tool shed right now. I was gonna do a video about digging potatoes and show you guys my different harvests, but I came to get the digging fork and look at that. Look at that. Looks like my husband had some fun with this digging fork, so that's not gonna be happening. I guess we'll have to try this pitchfork over here, so I'll grab that. We're gonna dig some potatoes. Alright, so for those of you who are new here or who haven't been paying much attention to my other videos, we have only been in this new garden since March, only been actively gardening since April, May time frame, and we are just spending this year learning about the garden, the soils, and where different things are going to grow the best. So this year for the veggie garden, it's been a big experiment of planting random veggie plants in random places and seeing where they do the best and which plants do the best here in this garden in this new climate. So we got a bunch of different varieties of potatoes and planted them in 5 different places around the yard, and I'm going to dig some up now from different areas of the yard, and we're going to see how they did in different areas. So that brown stem there, whether you believe it or not, that's a potato plant, so we're going to dig in there and see what we get. Gonna have to put the camera down. Alright, so after some digging around, what we got here is a whole bunch of ants and 2 small potatoes. That's it. So what that tells me is, and this is also a squash plant I planted here a few months ago, the same time I planted those ones there, and you can see a little bit of difference. So obviously the soil here, it could be that it's low in nutrients compared to that spot 10 feet away, or could also be this was an area that was gardened by the previous owner. Could be that she maybe used a bunch of products over here that the plants don't like. Maybe she put something in the soil that the plants don't like. Could also be because it's very close to this maple tree. Not sure if the maple tree is doing anything allelopathic to the soil to prevent other plants from growing, but this is obviously not the spot for potatoes for next year, and that's how you find out. Alright, I just dug another spot in the same row, just about 5 feet away from that other potato. This was a different variety, and that's the harvest there. A little bit better. Could be the variety difference, could be it's a little further away from that tree. I planted a lot more potatoes here. We're going to see if I can find them. We'll see. Believe it or not, there's another potato plant here. This guy. And I can already see 1 potato poking through the soil, so we're going to try to dig it up. Alright, looking a little better here. Got at least 4 tubers. I can dig around some more for more, but I feel like that's about it. This soil does feel a little bit moister. We're going further down the hill, so maybe it's the more moist soil that's got it happier. I don't know. It's also directly under a rose bush, so I would have thought the rose would have competed with it some, but not so much. I don't like this rose bush. I did stab myself twice trying to get these potatoes. So, see if we find any more potatoes here. Did some more digging, found a 5th very tiny potato in that spot. Okay, just 2 more potato plants to check on this row, but I could let them go a little longer. We're going to check one of them, find out what's going on here. I decided on checking this plant further down the hill, and it's going to be a beast to check because it's tangled up with this row, so it's going to put me through some pain to get at it, but we'll try it. Alright, here's what I found with that one. And there could be more down in there, but I'm tired of fighting with the rows. 2 potatoes. And we found that it's the purple variety. It's an Adirondack purple potato, or blue potato. Only 2, but they're free, so what are you going to do? And again, this was a big experiment of planting them in random places, not watering, not fertilizing, just seeing what happens. So, got a couple more places to check in the yard. We'll head over and check it. I almost completely forgot about this spot. You can't even see where the potato was now, but I do remember planting a potato in this old stump to see what would happen. Oh, yeah. There it is. You can see the tuber. Let's dig in there if we can. See what we find. Whoop. Okay. Don't know if I'll be able to do this while holding the camera. Okay, I'm gonna have to put the camera down. All right, here's what we got from the stump potato. That's not a lot, but it's not too bad for being planted in what's very dry soil. It's very dry and crumbly down in there. And it's, you know, where this old stump was, and who knows what kind of tree that was. If it was an old black walnut, it'll have a lot of allelopathic chemicals in the soil. And so that's pretty good. And again, never watered this, never fertilized, just literally stuck a seed potato there and walked away. Never mounded it up. So, you know, from a tiny seed to that, that's at least double or triple what I planted. So not too bad. Walking past my blue Hubbard squash here. Damn! That's a mighty fine squash, but the vine doesn't look too happy, so I don't know if that'll make it to maturity. That's pretty big. All right, we got some more potatoes over here. Let's check them out. I'm going to show you some pretty flowers for a second while I warn you to look away if you don't do well with gross things. I just tried digging up the first potato plant along this row of flowers here. It's not pretty. Here we go. That's what we got. That's what happened to that potato. So this spot is a definite no. Definitely not planting potatoes over here. That's experimentation though. That's how we find out what works and what doesn't. So that potato did not work out. We have a few more planted around here somewhere. I don't have high hopes because I did do some exploratory digging of these potatoes a few weeks ago and wasn't finding much. That's if I can even find the potatoes now. Gosh, where were they? I think there was one here. I think there was. Let me do some digging. Never mind, I'm actually not going to do any digging. If there was a potato here, it's now belonging to all these ants. So, I mean, this is not Florida, so those are not fire ants. But fire ants are not the only ones capable of stinging and biting. They just hurt extra bad, but I don't want to find out what these guys feel like, so leaving you guys alone. I do believe there was a potato over here somewhere too. Let's see if this is also full of ants. I'm fairly certain I planted a potato here and I'm not finding anything, so that's a bust. This whole section here seems to be a bust for potato planting. Was there one here? There was another one over here somewhere. I don't know. I'm gonna guess this area is just a bust. We learned. We experimented. We learned. And I won't plant over here next year. Also, sorry if the camera angles are ever really awful and shaky and I'm moving too fast for you guys. If I give you motion sickness for my videos, I apologize. Just gonna say that now. All right. 2 more spots in the garden to check. Let's see, over here by the basement, let's go. These potato plants you can still see, they took a lot longer to come up. I'm going to dig up just the most dead looking ones first. I have made the gravest of errors that you can make when digging potatoes. The fork right through the potato. So that one won't be able to be stored, that one's gonna have to be eaten pretty much immediately. That's a sad day, but that's one of the biggest potatoes we've gotten so far. All right, I dug up 3 plants over here. They were 3 different varieties, and you can see this is what we got. Not a lot, but again, this is a no effort potato planting. I didn't prep the soil. I did nothing except stick the seed potatoes in and walk away. And that's what we got. So another area that might not be the best for potato growing, but I said there was one more spot after this. There's actually 2 more. I forgot about one of them. We'll go check those out now. So this is our raised bed potato garden. And in case you're wondering where the potato plants are, the potato plants have already been mostly harvested from this bed. So I did that off camera over the past few weeks. We've been harvesting them and eating as we go, and so I already know we get an average of about 5 potatoes per plant from this bed, regardless of variety. And this bed was filled with horse manure and compost. So pretty good soil, and we kept it pretty watered. Most of the potatoes have already been harvested, so we're just letting it go to weeds, but I'll see if I have any plants that I missed here, and if so, I'll show you what I get. We're in luck. I did miss one of the potato plants here. So you can see, I might have already grabbed some potatoes. I've been grabbing them from the plants and not completely digging up the plants. So I might have already gotten a couple from this plant. Looks like there's about 3 good-sized tubers left and a bunch of small ones. And those are some of the biggest tubers we've seen so far. This is also a big deposit of horse manure right here, so that would explain it. Weeds. Yeah, that's a good-sized potato. But yeah, it's been about 5 potatoes per plant in this bed pretty consistently, and I've just been harvesting them and keeping the potatoes plants alive. Look at that harvest so far. One last quick potato harvest from the last spot because storms are coming and my husband wants to go walk the dogs. From over here, in-ground bed, in-ground with horse manure added. And the potato plants are the biggest in the yard. We're gonna go after this dead one here behind the celery. All right, this harvest is difficult because I'm trying to work around the onions and celery I planted here right near the potatoes and the fence, and that's not easy, but immediately, these are the largest potatoes so far. And we've got so many here. Oh, it smells like celery. Wow. Wow, that's really big compared to all the other potatoes in the yard. So looks like we found our potato growing location for the yard, and our conditions are straight in this ground, the soil here, plus horse manure and occasional watering. Not a lot. This is also downhill from where our roof drains, so it's gotten plenty of, that's from one plant. That is from one plant. 7 potatoes, most of them are quite large. We found our winning spot. So now I know for next year this is the spot to plant potatoes, and adding horse manure did pretty well. Maybe give it a little more space between the fence so I can harvest more easily, but that is a successful experiment, I think. And we'll save the raised beds for something else, not potatoes. But that's just how you find out how to garden, guys, is experimentation. Try everything, see what works, and we found what works. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening.